What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel. I can't believe I'm making this video right now, bro. If you guys watched last video, you guys know I think I have a blown head gasket on the 240. It's either a blown head gasket, the head is cracked, the block is cracked, which I doubt because they're iron, or something with the water pump, but I don't think it's any of that. I'm pretty sure it's a blown head gasket because I am getting white smoke out the tailpipe. I thought it was from the last time that I touched the head on this car, and I thought it was the valve seals on the valve guides. But apparently, as you guys saw last video when I checked the oil, it looks like it's a blown head gasket because I'm getting hella coolant mixed in with the oil. I'm actually surprised that there's no damage to the motor. Like, the motor sounds fine. The oil didn't lose enough viscosity to like fuck up the motor. So hopefully all my bearings and everything are fine. Today I'm by myself, but I'm gonna try and fix the head gasket on the car. I don't know if I'll finish today, I doubt it. But yeah, today we're gonna be tearing apart into the motor, probably most likely replacing the head gasket. I really hope that it's just the head gasket, because if it's a cracked head or something, I don't want to buy another head. I'd rather just buy like a $40 gasket and replace that. Before I go buy a head gasket, I'm gonna do this test to make sure it is 100% a head gasket issue. There's no coolant inside of my radiator, obviously, because the coolant is being mixed in with the oil, so something's leaking inside the motor that's letting the coolant get into the oil. Before I go buy a head gasket, what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna fill this up with probably just water. I'm gonna fill this up with water so it's all the way to the top, and then I'm gonna let the car run for a few minutes. And I wanna see if the fluid inside of here starts bubbling. If it does start bubbling, that means that the exhaust gases are leaking into the cooling system, and then there'll be bubbles right here. So I'm gonna fill this up, let it run for a few minutes, and then I'm gonna check if there's any bubbles in there. Damn, that took way more water than what I was expecting. It took basically half of this, which I mean makes sense because when I dumped the oil inside of this car, there was a lot more liquid than the 4 quarts that the motor needs. Alright, it's been like 20 minutes. I've just done some research and I called up a buddy of mine. Bro, I don't even know his name, bro. If you're watching this, I'm so sorry. I still haven't gotten your name. I always forget. I just call him Tofu. It's like Tofu S13 or something. But that's how I remember him. Anyways, I called him because he knows a lot about JDM engines. I basically called him and explained to him that I'm not seeing the bubbling issue that like is the common thing with head gaskets. But I guess you don't see that with every head gasket issue. But after telling him the symptoms and everything, I'm pretty sure it's a head gasket because I doubt the water pump could do any damage like that. It's either going to be the head gasket or a cracked head. I mean, it makes sense. I used a cheap gasket on it from the beginning, which was probably only meant to ever see this car street driving. I took it to the pit last time. I was clutch kicking the fuck out of this car. I'm still on the stock head bolts, and I'm probably gonna be going to ARP head studs just because they give you a better clamping force. So I guess that's the plan for this video. I'm gonna get an MLS gasket, which is basically like a metal gasket instead of the stock one. So I'm gonna get a better gasket. I'm gonna get ARP head studs for better clamping force. And I do plan on boosting this motor eventually. As long as the block doesn't fuck up on me, I do plan on boosting it. So I'll at least have those head studs and the head gasket for the future already. I'm gonna drain the coolant out of the car so there's no coolant in it. And I'm gonna go to O'Reilly's. I'm gonna buy some cheap diesel oil. And I'm gonna flush out the motor. I'm gonna let it run for a few minutes with the cheap oil. It's gonna be one hell of a video for me. All right, let me go to the store, let me buy everything I'm gonna need, and I'll come back and let's flush out this motor and try and get as much of this gunk out as possible. I'm back at the shop right now. I got everything I need. This is the diesel oil I'm going to be using, and like I said before, diesel oil has special detergents in it that's going to help me clean the oil galleries and stuff inside the motor. Hopefully I only need one, but if one flush doesn't take off all the milkiness, then a second one should do the job. I'm gonna put this oil inside of there. I'm gonna keep the same filter that's inside of the car. I'm only gonna change the filter at the very end once I fix the head gasket and stuff, and I actually need to put the actual good oil inside of this motor. Before I flush the oil through the motor, I need to go and take out the coolant out of the radiator. If I take out the coolant out, that means that I can't get any more coolant that mixes with the oil. So right now I'm gonna drain the coolant and I'm gonna start flushing this diesel oil through the motor. Hopefully it gets everything out. Bro, this is the first time I've ever like been around diesel oil. It smells crazy. It smells like alcohol. Alright, I already flushed out the motor. I ran the diesel oil through the motor for like 3 to 5 minutes. I just ran it until the valve cover got a little warm. As soon as you shut off the motor, you need to go and drain the oil so everything's nice and hot and it just runs out of the motor as fast as possible. But it looks good. There's no more milkiness coming out of the oil from the oil pan, so that's good. Now all that's left is to disassemble everything. I'm gonna order the head studs. I'm gonna order the head gasket, MLS one, an actual metal one. And I think that's pretty much it. And then all that's left is just take everything apart, replace the new parts, and put everything back together. Oh shit. There's a bee right next to my face, bro. But yeah, that's it. I can't really work on the car. I could start taking stuff apart, but I really don't want to do that right now, especially because David's not with me, so I'll probably wait for another day. Taking off is the easy part. Putting everything back on is gonna be the annoying part. But now I gotta order fucking $100 gasket and $200 bolts. Ridiculous, dog. Hopefully by the end of this video, bro, this car is straight and I don't have to worry about anything, because after this the car should be ready to fucking drive, like, and then all that stuff, this cosmetics and stuff. But I don't care about the cosmetics right now. I just want to drive this car, man. I want to start drifting so bad. I want to get the hang of it, because I want to get another car soon as well, just for seat time, because obviously this 240 needs a lot of work. I want to get something where I can just throw an angle kit on it, some seats, a hydro, and then just have a blast. But first I really want to drive this car, so we'll see what happens. But I'll be back as soon as I can, and next clip you guys see, we'll be back working on 240 and hopefully get everything apart. Today we're finally trying to fix the 240. Let's head over to the shop because I need to start taking the head apart. I need to start taking everything off so that when the parts come in I can just slap them on, throw everything back together, and hopefully the car should be running good. It's gonna be a long day. I'm just gonna get straight into it. I'm gonna take off the hood on the 240 and I'm literally just gonna start taking everything off. I'm gonna take off the head today. Let's take off the hood and start disassembling the motor. The hood off. Now it's gonna be nice and easy to get to everything here. Literally I'm just gonna strip all this, so pretty straightforward. So I'm gonna just time lapse everything. I am not looking forward to this, bro. Let me get started and take off as much today as I can. Made some decent progress. Took out the dizzy, took off the wiring harness. Was pretty easy. I'm really hoping I don't have to take all this off, especially this, because this was so hard to put on. Like literally it's held on by zip ties, and like we melted zip ties to get it together, and it's pretty sturdy, so I really didn't want to take this off. But I needed to get the motor to top dead center. I needed to use a 27 mil socket on it to be able to rotate the crank, but I couldn't get the ratchet with the 27 mil on the crank hub because of the clutch fan that was in here, so I had to take out the clutch fan. It's right there on top of the car. But I took out the clutch fan. I was able to slip in the big ratchet in here, and I just manually turned the engine slowly. I put 2 extensions inside of the motor right here, and as I was turning it, the socket was going up, 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 up. You want to go to the point where the socket goes all the way up, and then it's going to start coming down a little bit. You want to back up the wrench a little bit to make sure that this is literally at top dead center. That's how you know that cylinder number 1 is all the way at top dead center with this little trick. So this should be close enough. And now I know that when I disarm the motor, it's already at top dead center because I'm not going to touch anything on the bottom. So now that that's done, let me get started with the rest. I think that's pretty much it. I think all that's left is to take off the intake manifold and the exhaust manifold, and I can actually start taking off the head. But this side's going to be annoying because of the fuel. I'm going to just try and back this up a bit, so just so I can get to the head. And same thing with this. I'm going to try not to remove them completely. But yeah, let me get started with that. Bro, taking off an intake on a K24DE is ridiculous, dog. That took me like almost like 40 minutes just to take off the intake manifold. It's ridiculous. If you're taking off your intake manifold, buy a swivel socket. I have these cheap Pittsburgh ones, and I mean they do the job, but I want to get some better ones eventually. These are just super bulky and they don't really have that many mobility, but it did the job. So if you guys are taking off your intake manifold, you literally need one of these. I don't see how you could take off the intake manifold without one of these. I literally just have to take off the headers, and then I can start taking off the valve cover and the front timing cover, and then I could literally get the head off. So I got the headers off. That was actually pretty easy. I guess if you do it 6 times, it does become easy, but the hardest part is basically done. The head and everything is pretty easy because now everything should just pop right off. The intake manifold was terrible, dog. I never wanted to see another intake manifold in my life again. I got the valve cover off, and after looking inside, it doesn't look too good. I thought I cleaned out the motor pretty good with the diesel oil, but I guess I didn't run it long enough because, as you can see, there's a lot of the milkiness still there, and it's super thick. At least it's not super watery. But the next step is I need to take off this front timing cover right here. It's just a few bolts, pretty self-explanatory. Damn, the lighting in here is super bad. It's because of these bright ass LEDs, but it's the only thing I got, so I apologize. But I'm gonna take off this front timing cover. Should just be some bolts on the side. You want to take this off so that then I can get access to the cam gear bolts right here. All right, I finally got the front timing cover off for the top. It wasn't too bad. So these are all the bolts that I took off. Wasn't too many. And then it was kind of annoying to take off because I had a bunch of RTB from the last time I put it on. But basically you just get a flathead. In this area specifically, there's a little bit of the timing cover that sticks out. I put the flathead back here like this. Right there, it would have been hitting the time cover. And I just hit this in with the hammer. Not too crazy, just slight taps. It was enough to kind of break this side loose. And then I did the same thing on this side. And then you just kind of got to basically work it off. And then basically once it sticks off, you could pull it off. So I pulled it off now. And now I can see what I need to take off. So, all right. So at this point, I don't really remember what to do. Let me figure this out and I'll come back and I'll tell you guys what I did. I took off the tensioner right here so that the chain has no more tension going up against it. So it's just 2 bolts. Now the next step is I need to take off these 2 cam gears. And to do that, you need an adjustable wrench to hold the cam in place while you break this loose because it's pretty hard. So I got my breaker bar here. This is a 24 mil. And I'm basically just gonna hold that while I break this side loose. And I'm gonna do that for both sides. There we go. These gears should just come off. You want to make sure you want to keep them like this. So, all right, the next step is there's a tensioner down there that I can't really show you guys. I'm gonna have to put tension on the chain this way to push the tensioner in, and the tensioner has a little hole in it, and I'm gonna put this little piece of welding wire inside, and that should keep it from closing. So I'm kind of scared because this welding wire isn't strong, but no, I have to record this. Like, this is actually crazy. All right, so right now, so for this tensioner right here, there's a little hole that there's no way I'm gonna be able to show you guys, but yet I have to push this chain in right here manually and then put a little clip in there. I tried welding wire, but the welding wire isn't strong enough. It just snaps off. So I need a paper clip, and I was going crazy trying to find a paper clip. I messaged David and no one's home. Like, I literally couldn't, like, no one could give me a paper clip. And I was literally like, I'm gonna just leave it then. Because I just needed that last paper clip to be able to take this last chain off, and that's all I wanted to do for today. And I was gonna take off the head another day because I'm gonna go play soccer right now. I was literally about to clean up, and bro, I don't know how, I swear. I talked about this last time when I put the bell housing on the Y240. There's no way I'm gonna be able to explain what happened last time, but if you guys know, if you guys watched that video where I put the bell housing, me and David tried like 100 times to make the trans to the engine, and it wouldn't go in. I deadass prayed, and then it just popped in. Like, it was crazy. But this is like one of those moments, dog. Like, I'm not even a religious person, but bro, like, this is crazy. So I'm cleaning up, and look what I found on the ground. Literally right in front of the 240. Bro, I swear I didn't put this here. Like, how did I not see that throughout the entire day? I would have seen this earlier and probably thrown it out or something, but bro, what? It literally just, that's crazy. I can't wrap my mind around that. I don't know how I didn't see that earlier. Like, I literally didn't see anything there earlier, and no one's been here, no one's home. I've been in here the whole time. I'm gonna tell my mom about this and she's gonna freak out later. This should be strong enough. This is what I used last time when I had the motor apart. This is crazy, dog. I'm gonna try this last thing, get this chain tied off the side. I'll show you guys what that is before I dip, and then I'll come back in a bit, but let me get this done real quick. All right, I thought finding that paper clip was a sign that I was supposed to take the head off today, but that's not working. I literally can't do it by myself. I don't know why. Like, tensioner doesn't go down all the way for me to slip the clip in, so I might need to wait until I have help from someone. I don't know if the tensioner is clogged up or something, but that's literally it. I just have to get that, and then the chain comes off, and then the rest of it is easy work. This is the last annoying part because I need to make sure I don't lose timing, so I need to be very careful. Next clip you guys see, we'll be back working on the car. Hopefully we get the tensioner locked into place and I can take off the chain. If not, we'll figure it out. I'll see you guys in a bit. All right, we're back. It's been like a week since the last clip you guys saw. Here with the homie Edgar. What up? I literally couldn't do anything else because I needed help with the tensioner, so that's why I got Edgar with me right now. I think my tensioner is messed up. I think the welding wire that I put in first, I think a little piece of it broke off, and that's why the paper clip can go all the way to hold the tensioner open. But we'll figure out a way to open it. We'll probably just hold it with a magnet while Edgar slips off the chain or something. I don't know, we'll figure it out, but that's basically the last step. I think we might just try and hold the tensioner while one of us slips off the chain. I'm not sure, because the main thing is you just don't want that tensioner to shoot out, because the second you take off the tension, if it's not locked in place, the tensioner just shoots out and it could fall all the way at the down here. After this, I can't really do anything because I'm still waiting on the head gasket. I'm still waiting on the ARP head studs. This is the last step before we can start taking off the cams and then take off the head bolts, and the head should pop off. So I just want to get this head start so that when the head gasket comes in, we just slap the new head gasket back on, throw everything back together, and turn on the car, and hopefully it should be good. I'll check back in and I'll tell you guys how we took off the actual tensioner. Hopefully we don't drop it inside of the motor. We'll figure it out. Let me see how we do it. So we literally just took the whole tensioner out with the spring, because that was literally the only way. I don't know why my tensioner's blocked. I don't know how I'm gonna get this tensioner back inside before we do the timing, but that's a problem for future Chris. But as you can see right here, we already took off all the cam caps. We took off one of the cams, and it's pretty self-explanatory. The only thing is you just want to make sure to take off from the outside in. This one first, then that one, then this one, that one, this one, and that one. Back it off, 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 back it off. You're gonna want to back everything up slowly so that the cam lifts up normally, because if you don't lift them up carefully, I've seen people have literally broken their cams in half because these are so fragile. If it doesn't come off, you just put a little adjustable wrench on here, just wiggle it out a bit. There we go. and the whole cam comes off. And now it's the bare head, literally. We don't have to take off the buckets and shims because this is gonna come off with the head when we lift it up. The reason you have to take the cams off is so you get to the head bolt. So in each of these holders, the bolt at the bottom, you can't really see them. And it's a 10 millimeter. I should have ones right here. This is from the first time I did my head job. This should be a 10. Yeah, 10 millimeter. So you're gonna need this for the head bolts if you have stock head bolts. So now all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just put a breaker bar on this, get it down inside there, and take off all the head bolts, and then literally the head should be ready to pull off. So we'll come back when we're about to pull the head so we can inspect the head gasket. We got all the head bolts and the washers out. Literally now, technically the head should just come off. It might be a little hard to get off just because of the gasket in the middle is probably cooked, so it's probably like holding it all together. And just overall the pressure is probably holding it down. So hopefully it comes off pretty easy. But now is literally the last step. We're just gonna take off the head and see how the head gasket looks underneath. Bro, my heart is beating right now, bro. Because if we take this off and the gasket looks minty, I'm gonna be scared. All right, let's take this head off and see what the problem was. We just took off the head. Let me give you guys a closer look at the gasket. Back here, in between these two cylinders, it's really shiny. And also, you can see this cylinder has like carbon buildup on it. Like that's normal, that's not bad for a piston. This one as well, you can see it's pretty black. That one as well. But then when you get to this one's like almost shiny. So this one was definitely getting coolant inside of the piston. So I guess it was seeping from back here. And I mean, it makes sense because these are the only ones with the coolant passages back here. So maybe it just wasn't making a good enough seal. But I'm gonna cut this gasket right here so I can slip it over the timing chain, and we're gonna take out the gasket. I think it was just a combination of like using the stock head bolts, and I have a ported head and a ported intake manifold, so maybe just making a little bit more power than normal. And this head gasket that I use is just from like a head gasket kit. It's not even OEMs, it's a cheap gasket, so I'm pretty sure it's also that. And also, if I can find the clip, I'll put it in the video right now. If you guys have been watching the channel for a minute, when I first rebuilt this motor, I put a shit ton of copper spray on the gasket, and maybe that was causing it not to seal properly. For the new MLS gasket, the metal gasket I'm gonna put in it, I'm not gonna put any copper spray, I'm gonna just throw it on how it is. There was definitely coolant getting into cylinder number 4. So the next step is I'm gonna cut the gasket, take it out, inspect it better. That's literally it. I can't really do much because we don't have the other head gasket and I don't have the head studs either. They should come in by next week though, so hopefully next week I can work on the car. All I'm gonna do for the rest of today is clean up all the surfaces so that when the new gasket and the studs come in, I can just throw everything on and put the motor back together in a day. I'm pretty sure it's just a combination of all those things that I said as to why my head gasket was leaking in the first place. We went ahead, Edgar was helping me. He was just holding a vacuum next to everything that I was scraping. I was using this little plastic scraper at first, but didn't really do a good job. I mean, it took off some of the stuff, but some of the stuff was really baked on there. So I ended up using a normal blade, but you have to be very careful with the normal blade. I mean, it looks pretty dirty. I don't feel anything on my nail, so it should make a pretty good sealing surface. And a lot of stuff came off of here, so you just want to make sure that when you're scraping, you have a vacuum nearby just so it sucks up all the debris so it doesn't fall back into the coolant passages. But other than that, the block's pretty much clean. I'm gonna just clean it one last time before I actually mate the head onto here with the new head gasket and clean it with alcohol or like some brake cleaner or stuff. But for now, it should be good. So the block's done. Next, I'm gonna clean the head a bit. The next clip you guys see, we're gonna get the car running. Hopefully, the part should arrive by then. I'm gonna inspect the head, make sure there's no like crazy cracks in it. I don't think so though. I'm gonna check the valves, make sure none of the valves are bent or broken or anything. Other than that, the block's already clean. We just have to clean the head. I'll try and clean the head a little bit right now. We'll probably try and put the cams back on and just hand tighten the cams just so when we flip it over, the buckets and shims don't fall out. So we'll probably do that. That should make it a heartbeat, huh? We're gonna clean the head and then just wait for the parts. And next clip you guys see, we should be installing the new head gasket and the ARP head studs. See you guys in a bit. Peace. Smack me or not peace. Oh. Alright, we're back. It's been like 2 weeks since the last clip I recorded. Hopefully the 240 is running by the end of today. It's my only day off. It's already like 3 p.m. I'm probably still not gonna finish the car today, which sucks, but at least I should be able to get a lot done on it. I'm not gonna be able to get the car running today because I need someone's help to put the tensioner back in, and Edgar and David are busy, so they couldn't help me out. So I'm gonna just do as much as I can today. I got a Cometic head gasket right here. This is a 1.2 millimeter, I think. It's in inches, I forgot what, but it'll be in the description down below. I went with this one because I already decked the head once. The stock thickness is 1.1 millimeters, so I needed a little bit more. so I went with 1.2 because I don't know if the head's been decked before me or anything, but even if it was, 1 millimeter of material removal was crazy. So hopefully this doesn't mess with any of the clearances, like the distributor and the cam timing chain and everything. Hopefully I have no issues with that. Of course we have some head studs because, like I said last time, I reused the same head bolts that were on the car. God knows how many times they've been reused. So now we have some brand new head studs that we're going to be throwing in. And the head studs in general just have a better clamp force than the OEM bolts. I reused them once. Who knows how many times they were reused before that. I was just too lazy and I didn't want to spend $200 on studs, but I should have done it right the first time. I'm gonna do a little bit of YouTube magic and see how long it takes me to actually get this done. I can never do anything by myself, bro. I got the studs in, they're all hand tight. I just got an Allen key and I kind of snugged it down a little bit more. Not crazy, literally just until it sat. But all the head studs are in, but I can't really do anything else. I mean, I can if I really wanted to, but I just don't want to risk dropping this chain and losing the timing at the bottom, because then all this is gonna have to come off. So I'd rather play it safe than sorry, because literally the next step is to put the head gasket and then put the head back on, and then the fasteners go back on instead of the bolts, and that's how the head gets sealed to the block. But if I want to put the gasket on, I need to take off the zip tie and just hold this through the gasket while I sit it down and then put the head, and I just don't want to deal with that right now. So again, like always, I'm gonna have to wait until I have another day. Bro, it's probably been a month since the last video I uploaded. This is ridiculous. Hopefully this is the last big mechanical thing, because damn man, I just want to be able to go to the track like every weekend. Like once this car's running, and if it runs good, like I'm literally gonna be going to the track like every weekend. It's such an itch to start driving and actually learn how to start drifting. I'm really hoping this is like the last big mechanical thing for this car, at least for a while, because I know cars are never gonna, especially in drifting, cars are never gonna last forever. If you made it this far in the video, drop a like. One like equals one prayer. Hopefully this car doesn't break anymore. For sure next time we're gonna start early. I should have some help and the car should for sure be finished. I'll see you guys in a bit and I'll see how many days it is until I can start working on it. All right, we back. It's actually Thanksgiving Day here with the homies.
Happy Thanksgiving.
2 years ago on Thanksgiving, me and Edgar had pulled the motor out of this car for the first time. You remember that? And now we're here 2 Thanksgivings later doing half of that basically. The job for today is just to pull all this bike together. And we're kind of on a time crunch because obviously it's Thanksgiving. So we're just gonna try and get it all back together as fast as possible. Hopefully we don't mess anything up. I have David and Edgar's help, so it should go a lot faster. And hopefully by the end of today, the car's running at least and I can get it out of here, so I can finally wash it. But this car's been washed in like a year. Give you guys a little montage and hopefully we get everything back together. And I'll check back in with any updates or anything that happens.
What's Newton's first law?
Get that bread.
What's Newton's first law?
What goes up must come down.
No.
That's not him?
Yes. No. Yeah, it is.
I know what it is. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
No. Whatever's in motion stays in motion.
Head's torqued.
Nah, he's some torque head.
I'm gonna tell Shadi I need my head to 70 foot-pounds. Alright, we got the head back on. All the ARP head studs are on there and torqued.
Sir.
The hard part is out of the way. We gotta put the rest of the head components back in. Little update. I couldn't record because we literally needed all 3 hands on the block at the same time. We had to get this different color chain onto this little hole right here. A paper clip wouldn't go inside my tensioner, so it wouldn't hold the tension. But Edgar's gonna do cams on his Mustang in like 2-3 weeks from now. And he ordered this to David's house because David has Amazon Prime. Thank God it came here, bro. Because this is supposed to wedge in between the timing chain and whatever, the cam and timing components inside of Edgar's car. But I bent it and it worked for this car. What we did is we just stuck this wedge inside of here and we just jammed it down there, and it basically kept the tensioner closed the entire time, and it gave us the ability to be able to put the idler sprocket on there. Bro, if it wasn't for this wedge, we literally wouldn't be able to do it. Like, I don't know how we would have been able to do it. We're gonna put the motor back together and hopefully the car's running in a couple hours. It finally looks like a motor again. So we got the head back on, obviously. We got a torque down. We got the cams in it already. We already got everything on the front all timed. Front timing covers back on. Dizzy's back on. I think it's where it's supposed to be. I might have to mess with the timing a bit. I might have to retime the car, but I'm gonna try and turn it on, see if it starts. Valve covers on, spark plugs are in. The next thing, he's gonna put the headers back on, and I'm gonna go ahead and try and put this intake manifold back on. With the intake manifold on, the header on, all that's left is spark plug wires, this coupler right here, and then this has to attach to the intake manifold, and I think that's pretty much it. After that, I have to fill it up with oil and coolant, but Edgar has a badass tool for the coolant. We'll probably do it another day. He has like a little snap-on tool that fills it up without having to bleed the car. Can you do it with the car off?
Yeah, you do it with the car.
You're supposed to do it with the motor off? Nah, that's crazy. I need to see that. But I'm gonna work on the intake side. Edgar's gonna work on the header side. We'll see who finishes first, and hopefully we get this done pretty quick. And then who knows? Maybe I might be able to hook everything up before the end of today. So we basically got everything done. We got all the spark plug wires, we got the intake manifold, throttle body cable, the rest of the harness. We got everything connected, I'm pretty sure. We have the return and the feed for the radiator connected as well. Edgar has this tool right now that we're gonna use to put coolant in it. He says the car doesn't even have to be on. I don't even know how this is gonna work, but. What the hell? That's what happens normally?
Yeah.
That's what it's supposed to be.
It's taking all the air out. When you close it, it stays right there. That means it's holding pressure. Because if it drops, that means there's a leak.
And it's getting air in the system.
Yeah. So right there, it's not moving no more.
So now what? That means there's no more air?
Yeah, so just close it. Make sure it's not leaking.
What the hell? Damn.
And then it's just gonna drop because it's sucking in that air, all the water.
Oh, like a vacuum.
Yeah.
Alright, I need to put the camera down real quick because I'm helping him put this down. But yo, this is badass. You don't even gotta turn the car. That's just full to the brim. Hopefully it's bled. I mean, it looked like it was bled. If it didn't work for whatever reason, then we'll just put a phone and bleed it the old-fashioned way, but it looks like it should be good. Next step is I gotta put some cheap oil in it. Still gonna have a little bit of milkiness from the last like bad oil that was in it, and it still has the bad oil filter in there. So what I'm gonna do right now, I'm gonna keep the oil filter in there because I have 2 oil filters I bought because I need to do 2 oil changes within like 100 miles. I'm gonna put some cheap O'Reilly's oil in there. I'm gonna put this in there. I'm gonna turn the car on. I'm gonna let it idle for like 10-15 minutes, maybe a little bit more. Let it get up to temperature. Just with that, so that oil can go through the system and try and clean out as much as it can. And then after this, I'm gonna dump it out and I'm gonna put some regular oil, Valvoline 5W30 in it. That's gonna be the oil I use in the car while I drive it because I'm gonna start driving the car for errands and stuff again, just to put like 100 miles on the car with that oil. And then I'm gonna keep checking the oil every weekend and stuff, make sure that there's no more coolant seeping into my oil. If there is, this motor's getting the hell out of here, bro. After those 100 miles and after I drive the car and make sure that the head gasket isn't leaking anymore, then I'm gonna be running 5W40 because it's a little bit thicker of an oil. And I was told by a buddy of mine that I should be running that, especially for a car like this. 5W30 is good for daily driving, but when I'm gonna be drifting and clutch kicking and stuff, I think a 5W40 is gonna be a little bit better. It's gonna hold up viscosity a little bit better when it's a lot hotter. So damn, I'm kind of nervous. I already put a tablespoon of oil in each of the pistons. I put assembly lube on the cams when I put everything back in, so everything should be ready to start. I'm gonna fill it up with oil right now. We're gonna give it the first crank it has in like a month. The car might have to be jumped. I don't know if we have a jump pack back here. Oh, also another thing, I don't know if the timing and everything is gonna be fine on that. I just put the Dizzy how it was supposed to be put on. I might have to mess with it or something. I'm not sure, but let's see if it turns on. Let me put some oil in it and see if it cranks. It cranks. It sounds really healthy when it's cranking. Like, it doesn't sound like anything's bad. Everything seems fine. There's no leaks on the ground. Obviously the car's not turning over, so I'm pretty sure it's gonna be like a timing issue or something with the Dizzy. I'm really hoping it's not something inside with the cam lobes and stuff, because then I have to take off the front timing chain cover again. But I don't think it's gonna be that. I think it's gonna be something. It sounds like it's a problem with the Dizzy. Just like overall the car has to be timed, I think. Or I just probably didn't install the Dizzy right. We'll come back Sunday, which is in like 2 days, and hopefully Sunday the car cranks and I can go take it to wash and I can just finally get this car out of here and start driving it again, man. But the car has oil in it, has coolant, so it should be fine to sit. I'm gonna just disconnect the battery so it doesn't die. But one more day, hopefully one more day.
Yes, Lord.
Yes, Lord. Good news and bad news. Good news, the 240 runs now, so that's good. Bad news, I still have a couple things I have to do by myself before I get this car out of here. In the last clip you guys saw, we got everything back together on Thanksgiving, but we tried turning on the car and it just wouldn't turn on. But let me show you guys what the problem was. And like I said in the last clip, I'm pretty sure I said I thought it was the distributor. It was the Dizzy. I had it in, the tooth off. When I put the distributor back in, I kind of just eyeballed it. I aligned it when I put it in, but I was supposed to put it a tooth backward. I guess now with the different height of the head gasket or something, maybe affected the tooth, but I had to put it a tooth backward on purpose so that when it went in, it would fix itself and it would line up. The 240 fires right up. We turned it on last time, but I only let it run for like 30 seconds because I had to take off the clutch fan so I could manually turn the motor to top dead center, because we tried like 3 different configurations for the Dizzy, so I have to take off the clutch fan. What I have to do right now, I have to put the belt back on for the water pump and the power steering. That's gonna be a bitch. And then I have to put the clutch fan back on. So after this, all that's left is to put on the hood. I might not be able to put the hood on by myself. Let me get all this fixed so that the car can finally idle for a bit. I only idled it for like 30 seconds because it didn't have a clutch fan or a water pump. I'm gonna let it idle for like 20 minutes, get it up to temperature, and then do the first oil change on it. We'll see what happens. Let me see how long it takes me to get this done. Damn, I actually got the hood on by myself. That wasn't too bad actually. I just realized right now too, I have to put the bumper back on the car, but I'll probably drive home without the bumper. Bro, I'm so nervous right now. All that's left is to turn on the car, let it idle for 15-20 minutes and do an oil change on it, and I'm gonna take it out of here. I'm probably not gonna put the bumper on it because I'm kind of in a rush. I have work in like 2 hours from now. It's already 10:46, so I'm gonna let it idle until like 11. Let it get up to temperature, drain out all the oil, and maybe, just maybe, I might have enough time to wash it, but I'm not sure. I'm gonna start driving the car a bit more to make sure that the head gasket is actually sealed, and if everything checks out, the next video you guys see, we will be taking this car to the track finally. I can't wait to actually learn how to drift, and I have everything. I have the truck, I have the trailer. Now I just need the car. It's always one or the other that breaks, so hopefully this is the last big mechanical thing for the car, but we'll see what happens. Let me turn it on and get up to temperature, get all the oil in there, and do its first oil change in a while. So far so good, it sounds good. The only things that are kind of concerning, it only idle for like 2-3 minutes. There's a lot of smoke coming out the engine bay in general, mainly in the exhaust side because it's hotter. I'm really hoping it's just the head gasket inside, burning off all the oils and stuff that it comes packaged with, because I do know when you put a new head gasket, when you put any new gasket or any seal, especially on the motor, it smokes, but it's a lot of smoke, so hopefully it's nothing bad. It doesn't smell like exhaust, it just smells, I don't know how to explain it, like burnt metal, so I'm pretty sure it's the gasket. And then the other thing, in the rear end of the car, there's so much white smoke coming out the rear end still. Like I said, I know it's normal for, like, if you change the head gasket, the car is still gonna smoke a little bit, especially at startup, because it's got to get used to everything and it's gonna burn through the gasket a little bit, but I'll show you guys that in a bit. But I also noticed there's a fuel leak in the engine bay. It seems pretty easy to fix. I gotta tighten this a little bit better or something because there's a lot of fuel. Not a lot, but it's like a little drip of fuel coming from here. So let me try and slip this hose up a little bit higher and tighten this better. And then after that's fixed, turn it back on, make sure that nothing else is leaking, and I'll show you guys the smoke in the rear. You guys can probably hear it on camera, but it doesn't sound, it sounds weird. It has like a weird shake to it. I think the motor has to be retimed. The smoke in the back calmed down a lot. It's not as much as it was before. There's no oil leaks, no, the fuel leaks fixed. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna set up the timing gun again. I'm gonna try and time the car because I'm pretty sure it needs to be timed again. It doesn't sound good at all. So it almost sounds like it's misfiring. It might be a misfiring. I've only timed this car like once and I had help, so I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to. I don't even know if I have my timing gun here. We back. My girlfriend bought me these like wireless Rode mics. Hopefully the audio sounds a lot better on the videos. Bro, this is like the best gift ever. Like, she knows me so well, bro. Let me know what you guys think about the audio because I think it's gonna sound a lot better. I got good news and I got bad news. Let me start with the good news. Good news is the 240's back home, so that's good. The bad news is that the car's still overheating. I mean, obviously I got it home so it dries and everything, but the car's still overheating, so I'm gonna redo the whole cooling system. These hoses are super old. I have like a washing machine hose as the bottom hose, so I need to just replace all this. I think my thermostat's not opening up or something because when I ran the car, it still gets a little bit hot. And I noticed that this hose up here becomes like rock solid, and the bottom radiator hose, it stays cold to the touch, like if there's not even any cooling getting into the bottom of the hose. I gotta fix that, but other than that, the car's running fine. Hopefully next video, we fix the cooling system and the car is ready to run and ready to drive, and then all I have to do is break in the new head gasket and do like an oil change or two, and then the car should be ready to take it to its first drift event. That's basically everything that's going on with the car. The last clip you guys saw, I was timing the motor. I retimed it and it sounded a lot better. I will turn it on for you guys right now, but I forgot my key. But trust me, the car sounds a lot better. It just has like a small exhaust leak. I think it's because, like, if you guys saw a couple videos ago, there's a small crack in the exhaust. It came like that from the factory. So I might just take it to a shop and have it re-welded in that little spot. I'm not sure. But it does have a small exhaust leak. Other than that, the car runs a lot better. There's still like a small vacuum leak or something on it. The idle jumps a little bit, but it does sound a lot better than what it did before. I also changed the hatch on the car. You guys probably tell by the thumbnail. I put a blue hatch on it because the old one was just all rusted out and nasty. So I changed it out with this one. But the fitment on this one is terrible, so I need to fix it. But yeah, just a lot of small details with the car, but hopefully the motor's good and hopefully the car can start driving. That's gonna be it for today's video. Check out Stuck in Neutral. I'm stuck in neutral out right now, man. I know it's been a while since I've uploaded. I've just been super busy, especially with Stuck in Neutral, and my other brand got deleted and hacked. I've just been dealing with a lot. Hopefully the car doesn't have any more mechanical issues and is ready to drive, and hopefully I can start making videos a lot again. If you enjoyed any moment in this video, please consider subscribing. Drop a like, really helps out a lot, especially for a small channel like mine. I'll see you guys next time. Later.